All right, let's wait to get some people in here. If you guys can go back over there and say, if you guys go over there and simply say, Irish is sharing JW's private messages exposing JW and Heather. If you guys can go back over to JW77777 and simply type in the comments, Irish is exposing JW's private messages exposing JW and Heather. Yeah, Rebel, they're wild over there and they think they're untouchable. Isn't that my specialty? People who constantly feel as though they are untouchable. Sarah, I'll take guests in about 15 minutes after I show the screenshots. Because I got distracted on this issue. But what, y'all think I don't already have some receipts? And the audacity, the arrogance that they had was deplorable. Hold on one sec, guys. The arrogance that they had was just crazy. Hold on one sec, guys. The arrogance that they had was just crazy. The fact that, oh, they're suing Indigo as well. We're going to wait until we have more viewers than they did. And then I'm going to show you. And unfortunately, I have been busy the past couple of days. There has been stuff working in the background that you guys will learn about likely come Monday ish. That has been taking up a lot of my time, unfortunately. But I am right now, I already have some receipts ready on JW. And I usually recommend not going live on an issue or a story until we have absolutely everything. But gosh darn it, I guess rules are made to be broken, right? Okay, syncing is paused. Great. All right, so now let me very quickly hop over to their live. Paused. Great. All right, so now let me very quickly hop over to their live. Nope. Turn on the VPN. Let's go over there with that account. Give me 2 minutes. What are we at? We're at 171. Guys, let's get it to 200. Go over there again and say Irish is exposing Heather and JW's DMs. And once we hit more than them, and I apologize if we already have, I'm just trying to log in right now to on my secondary device to see if we have already beat their numbers, because I'm not going to have them have more people over there. Okay, great. So I'm logged in. Now let me go to their live. Oh, look at that. It went straight to their live. How does it know? All right, great. JW is gone. All right, I'm live on Irish in NYC exposing JW's talking to minors. Okay. So I'm going to be super clear that I had sort of empathy to some degree for JW. And I had empathy because after I went through their social media extensively, to me it became very clear. Oh, he just blocked me. What a cowardly little bitch. After I went through all of JW's social media, in my opinion, it was clear to me that this man is having schmoocidal ideation. And for that reason, I wanted to tread carefully because I don't take mental health as a joke when I know there's an actual concern. And so I will state for the record, to the extent I ever get sued for contributing to his unaliving, I am aware that he has mental health issues and he has expressed suicidal ideation. Schmoocidal ideation is not a get out of jail free pass. It is a we'll be a little bit more careful in how we approach you pass. And we have been a little bit more careful in how we approached you in the sense that I didn't go live trying to denigrate you from the get. And when I joined your live, you just simply lied to me to escape accountability. And now you're live admitting the lie, but laughing about the lie and claiming that you have done nothing wrong. So let's talk about what JW has done that he thinks constitutes nothing wrong. Some of these screenshots you're going to have seen previously. Some of the shots you're going to have seen previously. Some of them are new, but let's jump in, shall we? Let's skip that part and let's show the part that you guys have seen. Great. Actually, let's do this one. Let's talk. Great. Actually, let's do this one. Let's talk about Benny. So Benny was 18. Oh, I got a live restriction? Wow, someone's in. Talk about Benny. Live restriction? Wow, someone's in here REPRTing me? That's crazy talk. Oh, I got a live restriction? Wow, someone's in here REPRTing me? That's crazy talk. That's crazy. I don't want to restart, but if I don't restart, I may get a banana. Thoughts in the comments? But if I don't restart, I may get a banana. Thoughts in the comments? Thoughts in the comments, guys? Because it's weird, right? Thoughts in the comments, guys? Because it's weird, right? If I have nothing, then why am I getting REPRT'd by Heather? Thoughts in the comments, guys? If I have nothing, 50 to 100. It's actually kind of crazy because people just sort of like float in. And when they float in, I don't know. They there's no patience, and so I don't know if they go to other lives or what it is, but restarting almost always halves you. It's they there's no patience, and so it is, but restart really frustrating, frankly. So I'm gonna wait until let's say we had over 200. I think so. We had over 200. I think waiting until we get to 150 again is probably ambitious, to be honest with you. Cross, I'm not bringing up anyone until I go through these receipts. Just to be honest with you, receipts. So I think waiting until we get to 150 is probably ambitious, but we'll wait until then. Receipts. I think waiting until we get to 150 is probably. By the way, I've had a lot of people. Amber, I didn't get a message from you. Well, I don't know if you're referring to on TikTok or if you're referring to on Discord. But I don't know if you're referring to on TikTok on Discord. I think it's kind of wild to me that I want to be super clear, okay? Their defense, it's kind of wild to me, okay? Their defense to defending schmetophilia and defending talking to MINORs and defending schmetophilia and defending I don't usually use this term, but you guys do, grooming younger people and defending use this term, but you guys do, that they also, their defense to also, what was the other part of it? Oh, their defense to saying, hey, that they, defense to also, what was the other part of it? Schmetophilia is not illegal. Like, okay, bro, we don't dislike it because it's illegal. There's other reasons. Like, illegal. There's other reasons we dislike it. Their defense to that is, hey, you know what? Irish has a really weird accent. Like, how can I take this seriously? Their defense to being Petritio enablers weird accent. Take this seriously. Or doer. Take this seriously. Their defense to being Petritio enablers or doers. I have no idea. Their defense to that is Irish has a weird accent and he won't show his face. So that is Irish has a weird accent and he won't show his face. Okay? How does me having a weird accent or not showing my face in any way relate? Okay? How does or not showing my face to all the Petritio stuff you guys are talking about? Or not showing my face in any way relate to all the Petritio stuff you guys are talking about? Guess what? It doesn't. So let's go through some of the more innocuous DMs first. This is innocuous DMs first. This is JW talking to Benny. Benny has given permission for me to share these. Benny at the time was 18. In my opinion, is JW talking. Benny at the time was 18. I see permission for me to share these. Benny at the time was 18. In my opinion, I see grooming tactics being used here, but you all can make your own guess or your own evaluation. Here's JW saying, not trying to raise another one up to support one another. It's just your own guess or your own evaluation. Not trying to raise another one up to dumb. I'm so glad, Benny, you're way smarter than these sheltered white girls. They were taken advantage of by Harry, maybe, but maybe they expected too much. Like, I'm sorry, there's unalivings every day. People are getting unalived and unalived. Maybe, but maybe they, I'm sorry, there's unalived, and they worried about, well, I didn't know he was talking to 17 girls. Who the F cares? Anyway, let me get my lazy ass out of bed. I need to go make $1,000 somehow. Would they judge me how I make my money? Probably. Chris should pretend to have an OnlyFans. He would make $6 somehow. Would they? Probably. Chris should pretend to have so much money, but just post the same political context there. Okay, I'll text you later. So to me, I don't know, 40 political context there. Okay, a 4-year-old saying to an 18-year-old, it's just dumb. I'm so glad, Benny, you're way smarter than these sheltered white girls. All right, just a little sus, but, not a huge deal. Follow that on with the following type of behavior. A little sus, but, not a huge deal with which is him saying, okay, I'll text you later. I may go live later if I get bored enough. I officially can do a man bun. LOL, you're mature as F. I have had mutuals who are 19, well, not 19, 20, 21, 20. I have, well, not 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I don't think I've ever referred to them as mature as F. I've ever referred to them. I just don't think of that. That's like a weird thing to say to someone, in my opinion. But let's dig a little bit deeper. This is JW, who says that he's not friends with a lot of kids. This is JW talking about he is really good friends with Luke, who he identifies as 21, and Luke is apparently an influencer. Now, I don't really know Luke very well, but he says, JW says he's 21. If anyone in here wants to correct me, feel free to correct me. Here's JW saying, my friend Luke is someone I'd rather support. Benny JW saying, my friend Luke is someone I'd rather support. Benny says, is he an influencer? And JW says he doesn't go live, but you've seen his videos. Doesn't go live, but you've seen his videos. So then Benny says, yes, I love him. JW says, look him up. It's Luke 7. And then JW says, look him up. It's Luke. JW says, yeah, he and I are actual friends. He's really, really smart. I'm just going to say again, to me, it's just odd that he's going around claiming it's coincidental. To me, it's just odd that he's going around claiming it's coincidental that I talked to all these young people. Here he is bragging that he's really good friends with someone who was 21. But then watch this. That I talked to all these young people. He's really good friends with someone. Oh, he doesn't read off a script. How old is he? He's my age. He's a script. How old is he? He's 21. JW says he's my age. He's 21. And apparently JW would tell people that he was 21, and when he was corrected on it, he would say, oh, it's a joke. JW is 44 years of age. Now, when you combine, JW is 44 years of age, you're mature as F. You're different than those other girls. You're way smarter. You're mature as F. With you going around saying that you're friends with 21-year-olds and you are saying you're 21, that's sus. But you know what's even, I don't know, more sus? And here I only have a few DMs, but let's break the news. I wasn't prepared to do this live, but I'll do it on the fly. It was weird to me when I found your alt account, JW. And when I found your alt account, I found that you were following the same. To me, when I found your alt account, same 18-year-old people and the same minors, 17-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That was weird to me. People and 17-year-olds and 15. Now, it was odd to me that you were following them on one account. What made it extra odd to me was that you were following them. What made it extra odd on your alt accounts, you were following the same minors. Everyone really processed that. So he had a main account where he was only following like 80 people. Everyone really processed that. Where he was only following like 8, and he was following MINORs, and on his smaller alt accounts, he was following the exact same MINORs. That's weird, wouldn't you say? And on his smaller exact same MINORs, hey, that's a little weird. Now, he says it's okay to talk to minors. I personally disagree. Now, I know that TikTok, the people on TikTok, the influencers on TikTok, they have evolved the people on TikTok, the influencers on TikTok thinking on this. I know that 2.5 years ago, there's people who had Discords that allowed MINORs in there. I know that there's some people who have said that if you're talking to an MINOR and it's above board, what's the problem? I personally just don't talking to an MINOR and it's above. I personally just don't think that's wise. And when I have had anyone reach out to me about schmexual violence, I personally just don't had anyone reach out to me. Even in that situation where you could say that me talking to them if they're under the age of 18 would be justified, in that situation where you could say age of 18 would be justified, someone I know who is 18, 19, who has been involved in sexual assault or been involved in sexual violence or something similar, who is 18, 19, who or been involved in sexual, we ask someone else to contact that person in order to offer resources so that we don't have a 44-year-old dude like yourself, JW, talking to them. And in this case, I can reveal that Benny was kind enough to reach out to these minors and to ask them whether or not he was kind and to ask JW was simply following them or whether or not JW was messaging them. And the following them or what, and these MINORs have agreed that it is okay to share the fact that JW was in their DMs. This is JW DM that it is okay that JW was in their DMs, DMing the MINOR, and you can see by the context here that he had sent a DMing the MINOR, and he had sent a friend request because it says you open this chat and then it has a question mark. And this is, as it says, you open this chat, and is JW venting to someone who at the time was 14. And let me be super clear, thereby is JW venting to someone. And let me be super clear, bio said it. And let me be super clear, their bio said it. Their bio said it. I'll say it again because it needs their bio to be super clear. Their bio. I'll say it again because it needs to be super clear. Their bio said their age clearly. There's no question that they're an MINOR. Bio said their age clearly. They're an MINOR. JW was not confused that they're an MINOR. There's no question that they're an MINOR. JW was not confused that they're an MINOR. But what's more disturbing is the Discord conversations, JW. Did you think I wouldn't get your... Is the Discord conversations, JW. Did you think I wouldn't get your Discord convos, JW? JW, why are you connected to MINORs who are 14 on Discord, bro? Can you explain that to me? And it's weird. Why are you asking for this guy's high school information? Because what he's going to spin it is as follows. JW was following for this guy's high school information follows. J and was supporting an MINOR for months. And JW was sending this MINOR a ton of money. An MINOR. And JW was sending them, I mean, hundreds and hundreds in money. And when he started getting heat for this, he hundreds and hundreds in money. And he started getting heat. He was saying, oh, I didn't know they were an MINOR, and got upset at the fact that he would be labeled someone who's like supporting an MINOR. And so JW then started saying, oh, I was being conned by the MINOR, that he would be labeled someone who's like started saying, oh, I was being conned. And then JW said that he went on a campaign to get his money back from the MINOR. And this MW said that he went on a campaign back from the MINOR. MINOR, I can't quite remember, but I think that MINOR was 16. So I'll say it again. JW was sending hundreds of dollars to an online creator who was 16, then pretended not to know that they were 16, pretended to be hurt by it, pretended to be hurt by it, to want to get their money back. And this is JW talking to another MINOR who was 14 and who JW knew to be 14 and this is JW talking and who JW knew to be 14 at the time. And JW is asking this 14-year-old for the high school information of the 16-year-old because he wanted to do some recon on the person. I'm so confused as to what that implies or what that entails. Because I can understand if you think you were legitimately robbed by a child, you would maybe want to talk to their parents. I would totally understand that. I don't understand why you would reach out to a 14-year-old and then try to do recon. Recon means recon. Why you would reach out to a 14-year-old reconnaissance. And reconnaissance is kind of more like a military term that would ordinarily mean sending in like special services to observe and to monitor and special services to monitor and to learn information about an enemy. And reconnaissance, I think uniformly means physical reconnaissance. You don't do electronic reconnaissance. You do physical reconnaissance. I think reconnaissance. You don't do electronic reconnaissance. You basically, it means that you go to where the enemy is, you survey what's going on, you review what's going on, and you report back. So he's asking for the person's high school in order to find out for the person's high school in order to find out information about them. This is then the 14-year-old who, again, because it's frustrating to me that people spin this, I have had 14-year-old who, again, because it's frustrating to me that people spin this, I have had zero communication with this MINOR. Literally zero communication with the MINOR. Zero communication with this MINOR. Zero communication with the MINOR. But these DMs were provided to me and I can vouch for zero communication with the MINOR. But these DMs were provided to me and I can vouch for the accuracy of these DMs. And here the 14-year-old says, and I can vouch for the 14-year-old says, I guess him being 17, that's the person he was supporting. 14-year-old says, I guess him being 17, that's the person he was supporting, I guess. I thought he was 16. Explains why they didn't let blank into the 18 plus Discord. Didn't let blank into the 18. JW says, this is so wild. I feel like I should talk to him. Talk to the MINOR. I feel, JW says, this is so wild. I feel like he owes me. Now, I'm just sort of confused. He gave hundreds of dollars to this MINOR. And when he got called out for the fact that it was an MINOR, JW was like, oh, I didn't know it was an MINOR. And then pretends like he was like duped of money. How was he duped of money? I don't get it. Whether or not the creator who you were sending money to was a MINOR or an adult, did you send it to them based on their age? So JW started to go on a campaign, said he wanted to get money back based on their age. So JW started to go on a back. But tell me if this is a red flag to anyone. I feel like, but tell me if this is a, he owes me. The 14-year-old says he was just TikTok famous, and JW says, I spent so much money on that kid. He owes me. The TikTok famous, and JW says, that kid, by doing what? I bet this kid has never had schmecks. JW, I bet this kid has. W, the fact that you and people like Heather don't understand why it's problematic for JW, that you and people like Heather, and why it's problematic, a 44-year-old man to be DMing a 14-year-old child talking about the sex life of a 4-year-old man, talking about another minor, is why both of you are deeply, deeply dangerous. Deeply dangerous. So, Heather, if you can come up here and tell me about how it is. Tell me about how it is that you believe it's okay to talk to MINORs. What's the problem in talking to MINORs? When you say, Heather, that you defend your friend JW, when you say, Heather, W, and when you try to lie and pretend that you're talking about your kids, this is irrefutable evidence of JW talking to a 14-year-old about the sex life of a 17-year-old. Nurse Heather, let me guess. It's okay, Nurse Heather, because nobody was harmed in the making of this DM. Is that what your excuse is going to be, Heather? But hey, JW does have some limits. JW planned on hurting the minor, but then some limits. Said, I got to be careful though, because if I go full dark JW on a minor, I can put myself at risk. I want to be super clear. I can put myself at risk. When he was evaluating whether he should go full dark JW, and what that means is hurt him, right? Full dark. When he was evaluating dark JW, and what that means is JW is a euphemism for me becoming my meanest, my most dangerous self. Instead of JW, me becoming my dangerous self. W saying I should not go full dark JW because it's a minor. Instead, JW says I should not go full dark JW because of his own self-interest. Instead, JW because it's almost like people like you guys just don't know how to appropriately engage with minors. And the appropriate way to engage with minors is to not engage. It's really as simple as that. Minors is to not as simple as that. It is one thing for you to say you don't know who they are. It is another thing for you to say you were lied to, but you knew they were 14. They are. But you knew they were 17, and you knew you were talking about the sex life of a minor to a 14-year-old. JW. So whenever anyone tells me, why am I being mean to someone? If you're defending bad conduct, it's because you engaged in bad conduct. When bad conduct, Heather was exposed for saying that P-Treatio behavior is acceptable because it's not harmful. Heather was exposed for saying that full, and JW defended that. Now you know why. Because JW has that now minimum inappropriate connections and discussions with MINORs. And I'm just going to share these last 3 screenshots as a reminder as to who these people are. Heather, reminder as to who these people are, who claims to have been victimized by Chris. This is JW bragging to a then 18-year-old, stating, with the leverage Heather and I have on Chris, that's what we and him means. Leverage Heather and I have on Chris. When he says with the leverage we have on him, what JW is referring to is with the leverage Heather, Nurse Heather, and I, JW, when he says, with the leverage we have on Heather, Nurse Heather and I, JW, have on Chris Mowry, Benny responds, like inappropriate pictures you have of him? And Nurse Heather and I, JW, Benny JW says videos, which means that Nurse Heather shared inappropriate videos of, which means that Nurse Heather Chris with JW. Firstly, that's inappropriate. Secondly, we have Heather on record stating that she believes some of the material that Chris sent her was of Chris being underage. On record. Nurse Heather said that some of the material that Chris sent was of him of an age that she believed could have been he was an MINOR. Was of him of an age he was an MINOR. And so, sorry, not sorry, but it's not unfair for me to believe that you shared all images with JW. Sorry, not sorry, believe that you shared all. And I don't know why you're sharing another person's intimate stuff around when they didn't wrong you. Sharing another person's, you're not trying to prove something. But I know why you sent it. Because let's keep reading. JW then tells the then 18-year-old Benny, breathe a word of this and we are done. Do not tell your friend. Word of this and we are done. Do not. To which then JW suggests that Benny may be a spy of Chris, and that shows that we know who they're talking about. And then JW suggests that Chris, and that shows, it reveals why they're collecting the videos, the intimate videos of Chris Mowry. Haha, yeah. I guess when I ruin Chris's political career, he will I guess when I ruin Chris have to turn to OF. Remember earlier he joked about Chris opening an OF? That's what he's talking about. Oh yeah, he most definitely have to turn to OF. Remember earlier? Oh yeah, he most definitely has named the folders. Heather and I are going to have a live soon to bash Chris. Not tonight though, but I'll let you know. Oh yeah, he most definitely has. Heather and I are going to have a live. So yeah, Heather, you said that pedophilic. You said that relationships. Can someone give me a better word than relationship? The example we were giving was a 35-year-old and a 16-year-old. I'm not calling it that. He wanted studies. Nurse Heather asked for studies to show that pedophilic, no, you know what the word is? Pedophilic grape. Nurse Heather asked for studies to show, I feel like grape. Nurse Heather, that's what it is. Nurse Heather wanted proof that pedophilic grape was harmful to the child. Demanded studies that pedophilic grape harmed the child. Grape was pedophilic grape harmed the child. And then also said that it's beneficial in a not insignificant percentage of the cases. And JW defended her, saying not insignificant percentage. And JW defended her, saying we shouldn't judge it. People are too quick to judge. And JW kept trying to protect Heather. And JW defended her, saying people are too quick to judge, while I was trying to question Heather as to her feelings on pedophilic grape. And it turns out that Heather admitted pedophilic grape, that the images and videos that she got from Chris may have been from when he was before the age of 18. That the images and videos from when he was before the age. And this is JW stating that he has seen the videos that Heather had from Chris. And that he has them because JW is very clearly saying that he has the power, not Heather. JW is saying that he has the power to do this, which to me strongly implies that JW has the videos. And then we find out that JW is talking to, which to me strongly implies that JW, and then we find out that JW, MINORs, and let me be super clear. I didn't show JW schmexting MINORs. I don't want that to be spun. That's not what he did. What he absolutely schmexting what he absolutely did was talk to one MINOR. Sorry, talk to a 14-year-old MINOR. What he absolutely talked to one MINOR who he knew to be 14 about the love life of another MINOR. I think that's a lot of smoke, in my opinion. So Heather and JW, I think that's, in my opinion. So I understand you two have obviously been researching me. Look, I understand you two have obviously. What you should not be researching is what people say about me, Heather and JW. You shouldn't waste your time researching that. What you should research, JW and Heather, JW, you should research, JW and Heather, is what happens to people that I focus on and expose. It's to people that it has ended immensely poorly for every single one of them. It has ended for every single. So rather than try to get information to try to discredit me, you need to start humbling yourself. Rather than try to get you need to start humbling yourself and know that if I choose to make this an issue, your two names will be stained by your support of pedophilic rape for the rest of your lives. And I recommend you guys do what you guys said you're very able to do, which is to lie and simply apologize for what you guys have done, which is to lie, simply apologize for and lie and say you'll never do it again, that I'm the problem. I'll make sure all of TikTok knows you two are the problem. And you claim that I'm the problem, I'll make sure all of TikTok knows you two are the problem. Pretend that I'm the problem, I'll make sure. And you claiming, you arguing with people in the comments about whether it's called the Board of Nurses or Nursing Board, both of you together, combined, don't have a combined intellect that approaches any one of the people in the comments you two were mocking. You two are morons. Getting a degree, you two are morons. Getting a degree, whether it be a nursing degree or a lawyer, becoming a JD, it's not that difficult. It doesn't make you beyond becoming a JD. It's not that difficult. It doesn't make you beyond reproach. But the fact that you're mocking the intelligence and the ethics of people in the comments, when you two were stupid enough to join a live and admit that you guys don't think pedophilic rape is all that big a deal, is lunacy. So with that said, I'm going to bring up some people. And when Benny has more time later today, Benny, we can reconvene. And when Benny has more time later today, and keep going through this, because I realize now I was somewhat getting duped myself by having empathy for the mental health aspect of this. And after seeing what they were doing today, Yeah, I don't really have any empathy at this point.
So while you were live, JW was still live. I was obviously still in there. And this is what he had to say when someone was still live. I was obviously still in there. And this is asked what the reason was. He was talking about Heather still having the photos.
Go for it.
Like asking what should do with them, and I said don't delete them just in case like things happen or get escalated. So you have some, you know, you have an argument, you know, you know, you have an argument, you know.
What
Sounds
does
a
that
little bit
mean?
like
Have an argument?
extortion.
What is that
He
exactly? How
definitely
does?
he paused because he was going to say so you have something against him. Sounds
What
a
does that
little bit
mean?
like
Have an argument?
extortion. He paused because he was going.
Yeah. What is the argument? If Chris Mowry came out and said X, Y, or Z, how would his nude videos and images play a role? Yeah. What is the argument? If Chris, how would his nude videos and images play a role in that response?
I don't think like the two brain cells like work that hard for either of them, if I'm being honest.
They wanted to extort him. Just play a role.
I don't think like the two brain cells like work honest.
They wanted to extort him.
Correct.
They wanted to extort Chris Mowry over images that could have been when he was a child.
Correct. Which
And
is
they're
why when
playing
he was
the Mowry over images that could have been when he was a child.
correct. Which
And
is
they're
why when he
playing
was
the good
saying
guy.
that, I was like, oh, I'm getting that. Him being like, I told her to keep them, like just in case. In case what? And what are you gonna do with them?
How would
Keep them, like just in case. In case what? And what are you gonna do with them?
how on earth could those images or videos be relevant in any way whatsoever? They can't be, other than to make Chris feel as though he needs to be quiet. Can't be, other than to make Chris feel as though he needs to be quiet.
Correct.
And like, I don't like Chris at all.
The feelings mutual.
I got quiet.
The feelings mutual.